Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hello everyone. My name is Nurul Atira Syazwani binti Muhammad Anwar from Faculty of Information Management. Today I would like to share to you about the disaster recovery plan. Okay, let's start. Many companies don't have a disaster recovery plan. Often there is a desire for a DRP. The level of efforts and cost required to create DRP cause this project to have a low priority related to other more intermediate projects. A DRP is viewed as a nice to have or just insurance that will not be used and not as a critical business component. That is until there is a failure that causes a significant outage or loss of data, often a significant cost to the business. In my opinion, that every company could benefit from both disaster recovery plan and business continuity plan (BCP). Investing in DRP and BCP is just as important for most business in my opinion. In this video, I will describe many areas to address during the creation of DRP. It is not all-inclusive, but is intended to provide insight into the overall process. So now that you have decided to go forward with this type of project, what next? Where do you start? What needs to be addressed? How will you know that the plan really works? Do you need to find external expertise for this type of project? If so, exactly what type of expertise is required? A DRP first needs to be created, then tested and redefined, and finally implemented and test on a periodic basis. Most plans will experience some type of failure on the first execution. So, it is important to test the plan on a periodic basis, ideally rotating staff. Using experienced consultants to have developed the process and then later audit and redefine the process is usually ideal sound investment. They will often identify gaps or ambiguities that might have been missed with the system, process, and procedure in use. Find a team that will build a plan based on how your business and system work, and not try to make your business fit into a predefined template. Every business is different, and every system being recovered has its own characteristics. When using a DR facilities provider, there are many issues to be considered. There may be a availability issue if the company has many customers in a single geographic area. There may be a phone and network bandwidth issue if more than one customer declare a disaster at a single time. Does the company have a multiple hot sites that you can use, and where are they located? How long would it take to assemble a recovery team at each site? How often can you test a plan, and how long will you have to test the plan? Where do you start? The first step is to create the DR team, and this includes an executive sponsor, DR coordinator, team leader, and team member. These people should be designated as either primary or backup for positions, which every position have more than one person assigned. This to minimize people as a single point of failure. The goal is to have the expertise to help develop various recovery procedures and committed to success of overall effort. The next step is to define business goals. The goal should address items such as what functional area need to be recovered, what length of time is acceptable for recovery, what amount of data loss is acceptable, and this is often involve prioritization and a cost-benefit analysis to determine the worth of recovery. To find out what that really entails, you must know that what are the critical systems, what are the key process and applications, and what are the dependencies on other systems. These include data transfer, manual processes, remote processing, then document these processes. because there is interface with dependency on other systems and user interface and the sensitivity of data. Once the system have been identified, attempt to quantify their impact relative to overall business goal. Next is identify specific requirement. Everyone involved in this effort, include upper management within a company, need to have a single vision of what success look like. Without this, you risk wasting time and money on a plan that may be viewed as a failure. Next, identify the key personnel. These people may not be part of the DR team, but they are important. For example, who has the authority to declare a disaster? This list should be maintained both by name and by role. It should be validated and updated frequently. The next step is identify single point of failure. The overall goal of this step is to mitigate unnecessary risk. The scope of these efforts include people, software, equipment, and infrastructure. It is important to look at a big picture, which include impact of the failure, probability of failure, estimate incidents, and cost mitigation. After identify the failure, we need to preparing to develop a DRP. It is important to have a document management system in place to track vision of plan, work in progress, or work that is scheduled but not started. This information needs to be backed up and saved in a format that does not rely on the underlying system being recovered. For example, the banks like HSBC Bank, they use a secure e-room and external vendor for some of their projects, and they recommend that the plan be archived on portable media with copies kept pupil and various safe locations. The DRP should address three main functional areas. First, recovery. Second, restoring. And third is transferring data back to the production machine. First, recovery. Once the infrastructure is in place, it will be necessary to recover production data. Minimize hold in data is very important, especially a distribution processing environment where one step could be dependent on one or more predecessor step actions. Then, identify the action to be taken when the data inconsistency is detected. For restoring, all processing requirement and services level agreement need to define and documented. Dependency between processes also need to be defined. It is important to document the existing process and then build the plan accordingly. Remember that the routine maintenance, including backup, should be performed at hot site. Next is transferring data back to the production machine. Production will need to shift from a hot site back to the permanent location. A process needs to be defined to manage this mitigation. Synchronize the machine to a specific point in time. It should also be noted that this is one of the most difficult tasks to test. Next, the DRP should address three main technical areas, which is hardware issue, networking issue, and software issue. For hardware issue, this includes the machine type, configuration, operating system version, and the recommendation here is to plan a worst case. The key to success is to ensure that the DRP machine have at least as much capacity as the production machine that they are replacing. And for the networking issue, is any special type of LAN or VPN software required? How do the machine communicate with one another? Do applications connect to machine using hostname or hard-coded IP addresses? Are there requirements for connection to an external network? Or all networking requirements and issues need to be identified, documented, and then addressed in the DRP. The last one is software issue. Software issue includes operating system, user-written application, third-party software, and comprehensive inventory of currently used software. Working hardware and accessibility network is worthless if your critical applications are not working. Next is creating the procedure that support the plan. When the DRP is created, it should be not assume anything. Nothing should be assumed or left to chance. Design the procedure with the goal of a semi-experienced person who may not be familiar with your operation executing the procedure. Detailed test plan should be developed prior to execution and should address the critical functional area of the DRP. Data should be gathered during the test and saved for future review. In the event of a problem that may help the team make a root cause determination regarding the problem so that it can be corrected. If everything goes right, it provided the necessary documentation to support an external validation effort of the DRP exercise. If everything works, in the event of problem, that data may help the team make a root cause determination regarding the problem so it can be corrected. If everything goes right, it provided the necessary documentation to support external validation effort of the DRP exercise. If everything works is to know what everything is, and then to be able to demonstrate that the necessary tasks were complete successfully. The last step in creating DRP is testing and refining the plan. A common problem that we see is the plans are developed but never tested, or they are tested once and forgotten. A plan that is not continuously refined and validated is almost worthless. In order to maximize the chance for success in the event of a real disaster, it is essential that the DRP be executed once a regular basis. Specific recovery procedure can generally be tested in-house on more frequent basis. In conclusion, the DRP is a living document that is refined over several iterations and updated over time. No matter how good it is, it probably will fail during the real executions or the first execution. The key is to continue to improve the plan so that it will work if and when it is ever needed. That's all from me. Thank you. Have a nice day.